Hey guys, back again for another buttering breakdown video. Now first things first, and something I mention in every one of my videos. I am not an instructor, I'm not an expert, and I'm by no means a master. I'm just your average guy with a passion for snowboarding, and I want to use these videos to help share some of the things I've picked up along the way, or wish that I had been told when I was first learning. My goal is to make these quick and easy to understand, so I'll try to keep them simple without being too technical. With that said, let's get to it. For this video, we'll be going over our first combination. So far, I've really just been teaching you guys individual tricks, such as the ollie, the nollie, the nose press, and the tail press. These are great first beginner tricks, but they also make a very good base for combinations. For this week, we'll be going over the Nollie Tap, probably one of my favorite tricks to throw on the mountain. Not only is it because it's a pretty simple trick, but it also adds a lot of style and flair to your riding. As always, some major points I'll be going over in this video. Point number 1, breaking down the Nollie Tap. Point number 2, separate weight shifts. Point number 3, start small. Point number 4, tap or press. And point number 5, honestly just a tip of my own, but a good place to try doing the Nollie Tap. All right. Let me grab my board, strap in, and we can get started. All right, now that we're strapped in, let's move on to point number 1, breaking down the Nollie Tap. As I mentioned before, this is going to be our first combination. So for the Nollie Tap, it's a combination of 2 of the moves I've already taught you. This is a Nollie Tap. And the 2 moves that we're combining are 1, a nollie, and 2, a tail press. One more time, nollie, and then tail press. Moving on to point number 2, 2 separate weight shifts. Now what do I mean by separate weight shifts? Up until this point, every trick that I have taught you has been more or less one shift in weight. For the nose press, it was a shift to our nose. For the tail press, it was a shift to our tail. And then again, for both the ollie and the nollie, you just added a jump after the presses. But for the Nollie Tap, we're shifting our weight to the front, jumping, and then immediately shifting to the back. So let's go ahead and practice that. 1, shift your weight to the front for the nollie, jump, and shift your weight to the back into the tail press. One more time, shift to the front, jump, shift to the back. Point number 3, start small. Pretty self-explanatory on this point, but when you're first learning the Nollie Tap, we're going to need to get used to shifting our weight back and forth, so start small. Don't worry about how high the nollie is or how high your tail press is. Focus on shifting your weight between the 2. So again, front, jump, back. Point number 4, press or tap. In the beginning of this video, or rather for the majority of this video, I've been calling this trick a tap, but for most of it, you've really just been seeing me do a press instead. Both of these are correct. Or rather, neither of them are wrong in any way. Instead, think of them as variations on the exact same trick. You can nollie into a press, or you can nollie, tap your tail, and then drop down immediately. Now, why have I gone over both of these variations? The biggest reason why is actually in point number 5, where to try this. And one of the best places I've found to throw the actual Nollie Tap version is over a roller. By going over a roller and nollieing off of it, it puts you in a really good position to then tap your tail, drop your board, and then ride away. So again, I obviously can't show that to you indoors, but try it when you're on the slopes. I find it not only looks really good, but it feels really good when you throw it as well. While this combination is relatively simple, keep in mind that these are just stepping stones or building blocks to your foundation of ground tricks. As I mentioned before, my goal with these videos is to keep them simple without being too technical. And by breaking down these tricks into their individual elements, in this case the nollie and then the press, I'm hoping that they're easier to understand, but also a lot less daunting for you to try. As we move further and further into our buttering and ground trick training, we'll find that many of the tricks that I start going over are just combinations themselves, and I hope to continue being able to break these down for you guys. And of course, the combinations I'm going over or coming up with aren't the only combinations you guys can do. You should have fun with it. Come up with your own combinations. Play around and see what works and what doesn't. As I mentioned in the beginning, I'm not a master of these tricks. I'm just someone looking to help you guys along and provide things I wish I knew when I was first learning. So again, play around, try it yourself, and see if you can come up with your own. Thank you for watching. Again, just remember to practice, whether it's in your living room or on the mountain. Practice makes perfect, and just getting familiar with these body movements will do a lot in terms of your progress. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know down below, and I'll try to answer it as soon as I can. Have fun out there and stay safe.